Good evening. Where did he go? Welcome to Generation Movie on a Monday night.
Looks like you're setting up mood lighting.
We're missing somebody. My name is J.W. Colwell. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, who's not here right now. He's not.
Hold on. I'm Rich.
There he is. He was stuck in the snow. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Rich Drees of Filmbuff Online. And we're also joined, we have the pleasure of being joined by Natasha Bogutzki, also of Filmbuff Online and various northeastern Pennsylvania stages. Welcome on a Monday night to Generation Movie. Let's get some stuff out of the way early. If you like our content, please like, subscribe to the Indiescape Network page. We have YouTube, we have Instagram, IMDb, all of those good things. Find us. If you are here and you're watching the show, we have some big things coming up this week. First and foremost, we have a new show. Well, actually, first and foremost, tomorrow night, Loud and Nerdy. We have Lauren. Oh my God, we have Lauren from Camera X. He's joining us. He's a filmmaker at Camera X. I just went up on his name. I feel bad about that, but it is what it is. But he'll be joining us tomorrow night to talk about his movie Camera X, which is going crazy on Tubi right now. And we're super excited to have him. And we might have a few cast members from the movie as well. So that's tomorrow night, Generation Movie, 9 o'clock, or Loud and Nerdy, 9 p.m. Also this week, Untrained and Unscripted starts. So we have Generation Movie, Loud and Nerdy, and Untrained and Unscripted as the three flagship shows for the network. Ryan West and Joe Ridgely getting back together from their younger days. Now older, more grizzled, maybe better. I don't know. It is what it is.
Wiser?
But they'll be doing their show Thursday at 10. And we might see some pop-ins from various folks on the network. So check those out if you like our show tonight. I do not have a mic or a headset tonight, and I'm a little bit...
And you sound better than normal.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm projecting back of the house. We got a great show for you tonight. We're doing The American President tonight. Like the thing about it, it's an aspirational movie. And I think like
now
you can either watch it as the fantastic comedy it is, or watch it as a liberal pipe dream that we're now living the complete dystopian future of. Either one, it's still a great movie, but we'll be talking about that in a moment. News. So one of the things that happened is, well, first off, I do want to talk with Natasha about the Oscars in a moment because we didn't get the chance to talk to her. Also, big movie of the weekend is Mercy, the Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson movie that works in real time. It was okay.
Okay, so that is a real time. So yeah,
it works in real time.
I had a discussion about that last week. We were like, "Is this a real time or not?"
It works in real time. He has 90 minutes to prove his innocence. It plays like a Timu Minority Report. It is the best way. Like, it's fine, and I think. Well, if you're saying Minority Report's the stuff you get off of Amazon or wherever, it's Timu. The exciting thing about it, I was telling Rich about this. It has the MGM logo on front of it, right? So it's an Amazon MGM movie. They are prepping 11 releases for this year. And there were 3 trailers for MGM movies. So seeing Leo the Lion is kind of a cool thing. And it's it's an interesting thing where Amazon is not keeping their MGM movies just on their network. They're actually putting their money where their mouth is and kind of spending. We got Crime 101 coming out. We have Masters of the Universe was also the trailer on this. So it's interesting that they're like, you have to release a wide swath of films to kind of do this, and a sci-fi movie in the middle of January, it grosses $10.8 million. It beats Avatar. I mean, the other news of the weekend was all of the box offices were shut down around the country because of the snowstorm. So, Avatar goes to a crushing defeat to a Chris Pratt movie when it doesn't. Not everybody's going to the movies because everybody's staying home. So, also kind of interesting that the number one movie in the country is an Amazon product, MGM movie, when everybody was forced to stay home. I think there's an irony in there that's kind of fun.
Well, let's see if it remains that way next weekend.
No, next weekend, we talked about this. Next weekend, you have the Iron Lung movie coming out, right? That everybody's kind of talking about. It's gone from 2,500 screens to 2,800 screens. Another 300 screens.
Now, do you remember who the person was who funded it?
No, I don't know. I don't know his name.
I just said it last week, and you already.
I know, but I don't know if you know this, but sometimes, Natasha, I don't pay attention to you. Just the look on your face was great. Of course, I know it's Mark Plyer, something like that. Come on, it was fun. That was funny. The look on your face was priceless. It's going to be a meme. How does a woman want to kill a fat movie nerd? So we also, the other thing we also have next week is Send Help, which is the Sam Raimi movie that is getting very good reviews, because Sam Raimi, anytime Sam Raimi directs something, Rich and I get a little tinkle in our bellies. We're just like, ooh.
Yeah, I know you guys do.
Because it's Sam Raimi.
Literally.
Wait a second. Are you saying you have a problem with Sam Raimi? You don't have a problem with Sam Raimi.
I don't have a problem with Sam Raimi. I have a problem with Evil Dead fans, who are like the big core of Sam Raimi fans. It's just like, you do realize he put out other things as well, right?
Yeah, but is anything really as good as Army of Darkness?
I have, a Darkman one sheet that is frequently hanging in this apartment.
I have to watch that movie in 5-minute chunks, and I still haven't finished it. It's so bad.
What movie?
Army of Darkness.
What? I'm sorry. Did you just say you've never finished Army of Darkness?
You're a Stooges fan, so I figured you would enjoy Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness is brilliant. Army of Darkness is
fucking not.
Army of Darkness is the cold fusion of the Three Stooges and The Exorcist that everybody needs.
No,
it's like he's cooking with a different chemical.
Oh God.
Also, Rich, you mentioned this movie called Darkman, which is interesting because I don't know if you know this, Rich. I'm going to drop it on you now. There was Darkman news. There was Darkman news today. I don't know if you heard about this, Rich. This is kind of big news. But there is a Darkman reboot happening that Sam Raimi is producing.
Darkman.
This
is not the first attempt at making doing a reboot of Darkman. I might have the script from the last time that didn't happen. I have to go look. I remember reading about it somewhere. But
hello,
I'm excited. Let's bring that.
For the under 35-year-olds in the room, what is Darkman?
Oh my God! You've never seen Darkman?
First, let me here. I got this.
Oh my God!
Darkman is Sam Raimi's first superhero movie he did before Spider-Man. He did it because he couldn't get the rights to do a Batman film, so he basically did Phantom of the Opera as a superhero.
It's great.
It's got some great action sequences.
Stop.
It's got some
before you tip your nose up. Before you put your nose up, sweetheart, listen. It's got Liam Neeson and Frances McDormand.
It's a cast.
It is. It's a great. It's not a good cast. It's fantastic. Take the fucking elephant. Anyway,
Yeah.
take the fucking elephant. Anyway, so basically, what Rich is also trying to say, it's the movie that actually gave, and you wouldn't have Spider-Man Raimi movies without Darkman. Darkman is a movie that came out well before Spider-Man and has all of the earmarks. 90, I want to say 98. 98?
Me? No.
No,
I
it
was
was before
just
that.
barely.
Darkman 90. I just
91,
looked it up.
92.
Yeah, 1990.
90.
I'm sorry. It's but it is the movie by which Sam Raimi got Spider-Man. Like, you have to believe in your heart of hearts, Rich, that they look at that movie and go, he can do Spider-Man. He understands it, right?
And no, Joe, I've never heard of Darkman.
Oh my God, this is. I'm not gonna lie. This might be. I'm not saying it's a Christmas movie, but it might be a future Christmas movie for us.
Okay.
Even though it has nothing to do with Christmas.
What?
Just because I need you to see Darkman now. I desperately need.
I'll come in. I'll come if you want me to come on to do Darkman. I'll come on and do Darkman, but that's not a Christmas movie just because you wanted me to show up.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm trying to figure out. I can't sell it as a woman's, Women's History Month movie.
That's my stint.
That's what I'm saying. I might have to. But anyway, so basically,
just blanche on that.
If everybody doesn't know what Darkman is essentially, it's about this brilliant scientist that is working to create skin for burn victims. And in betwixt his funding, he gets embroiled in a mess with a series of an evil gangster that basically burns him alive, and he becomes Darkman because But the key to the concept is that he can create skin, but only for 30 minutes at a time, 90 minutes at a time. So he can look like anybody, act like anybody, but it's only 90 minutes. And then the formula breaks down. And the whole movie is about him trying to figure out the formula. He falls in love with Frances McDormand's character, and it is him versus the bad guys. He also loses any sense of pain. So he can take pain, and he can dish out pain, and it kind of makes him a little psychotic. But other than that, it's fantastic. It has Larry Drake from LA Law and Dr. Giggles. Larry Drake, who was Benny on LA Law, plays the gangster, and he's phenomenal. It's a fantastic
first movie outside of LA Law, and everybody's like, what?
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's not Benny. But yeah, so there's the sequel pairing that they've given Raimi producing, the directing team behind Don't Move, right? And it's Ghost House Pictures, so it is Raimi's thing. We have a script with two great directors. We still have some difficulties with finance. It always happens in this movie business. There are 3 Darkman movies, right? There's Darkman, Darkman 2, The Return of Durant, and Darkman 3, Darkman Die. They're not as good. But the original.
Wait, this is a fucking trilogy, and I've never heard of it.
Although Arnold
Ouch.
The second movies.
Well, the second and third parts were direct to video at the same 96. But Arnold Vosloo took over the Liam Neeson role.
Plays Peyton.
So
it's
from The Mummy.
Liam Neeson and Frances McDormand are. No, but
just trying to sell.
There's also other cameos in the movie, but and it's just a really great comic booky, tortured scientist fighting mobsters. It's funny and it's smart, and Liam Neeson's great. And I would also, Rich, would you agree? I don't know if you agree with me on this. But the way Liam Neeson acts as Darkman, the voice, I gotta assume that Christian Bale at some point saw Darkman, because his voice as Darkman is very Christian Bale in Batman, and yes. It's like it's a fun movie. It's such a great movie. Like it's so good. Anyway, the idea if we get a sequel to Darkman,
literally the movie when the movie came out.
Posters were great. Oh my god, I have all the posters.
When the movie came out,
I have all of them.
I have the teaser poster here as well.
Who is
when the movie came
Darkman?
out? I remember going to see it with a buddy of mine from college, Chris, and we went like the Saturday of the weekend it opened. Walked out of the theater, immediately went up to the box office and bought tickets
right
for
back
the next
in.
And right back in. That's how. I was like, oh my god, this was amazing.
Yeah, it's just got everything. It's got everything.
I don't think if Batman '89 hadn't happened, it's got what's his face doing the score, Danny Elfman doing the score.
It's got everything you want.
The studio was looking for a Batman vibe, and they got Sam Raimi, who was trying to make a Batman movie to begin with.
By the way, Natasha, look at this. Look at the artwork. Look at the artwork on the poster. The artwork on the poster is so good. Like, and
it's
what
a
happened?
Beautiful poster, but it reminds me of too much of The Shadow, which I never even heard of or saw until like 2 years ago.
I know Rich has a soft spot for The Shadow. And
the movie itself, I think, falls apart in the third act very bad.
Yeah, but Darkman doesn't fall apart at all. Darkman. In fact, the ending of Darkman has been used so many times. Like the end of Darkman is so good that it has been stolen from other movies. The end of Darkman is so great, like it has been stolen. Mm-hmm. Like the one I can think of off the top of my head, and it's obscure, and then we'll get to comments. Storm of the Century. Things were stolen from Darkman. Endings of things. The ending is so great. Anyway, if we get a new Darkman movie, Rich, I will be very excited, and it will be very much like a new Fletch movie that Natasha will make fun of us, but I don't care because I'll be going to see Darkman on opening day.
I still haven't seen it.
The new Fletch?
None of the Fletches. Not the old or the new. It disappeared. It didn't matter. It just disappeared off the radar.
I heard it not matter. I'm just going to let you know it's been passed around. It's been passed around by a bunch of people. I had one movie to watch with my cousin who visited from Pennsylvania, and the movie we chose was Fletch Lives. Just so we're clear. You know what I mean? Like... just telling you, it's being passed around in a way that's very significant. And if Ham gets to play the character again, I think it will do better. I'm just saying, I think it's one of those movies.
Is it
I hate to say it, I don't foresee that
Fletch?
happening based on the box office, but I thought Ham did a great job. I would have loved to see them. I think they were looking at Death and Karaoke Fletch next from the novel series from McDonald. I think it's going to be another 10 years before somebody tries to redo Fletch.
That's rough.
I saw that coming a mile away. Sorry, guys.
Oh, well, we're all disappointed. Let's talk about the Oscars. We didn't get to talk with you, Natasha. Rich and I are pretty happy with the nominations.
Before we do, I do want to throw one thing into the box office discussion, and that's over the last 2 weekends, a little reissue of a film called, 3 films actually, The Lord of the Rings, managed to pull somewhere between $15 and $18 million for movies that people own, perhaps maybe own multiple copies, multiple versions of the films like I do on my shelf over there. And I think given what some of the other films were performing, over the last couple of weeks, $15 to $18 million for a reissue that was only getting like 1 or 2 at most screenings a day for each of those 3 films. 4 hours, French. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I think that's still fairly respectable for the.
I think it is. I think
people want to go back and see the spectacle on a big screen.
I think there is a healthy. There is a healthy appetite for good old movies in new formats. I don't know if you heard about this. I don't know if I talked to you about this, but during the Christmas holidays, I got I got a survey from IMAX asking me all of the movies I would like to see in IMAX, like on the IMAX screens, in the IMAX format. And they were like, pick 3, right? And I think I don't know if I told you, but I think I was like, if we're going to do Lawrence of Arabia, let's do Lawrence of Arabia as big as we can do Lawrence of Arabia. Make it bigger. I think I picked Aliens because I'd like to see Aliens in IMAX at some point, like, or Alien, either one. And then I think, what was the third one I picked? Shit.
Was it Speed Racer or were you wrong?
I was wrong, apparently. I think I picked something else. But what I would say is, like, they're fishing for the next big kind of like Jaws and Back to the Future and like something that people want to see on a big screen. Maybe with Rob Reiner passing, it'll be something like The Princess Bride or something, but it could be, but it's impressive. Over the past weekend, they did, I have numbers for you. Lord of the Rings Fellowship came in 8th. It did 2 Tower. That's the one celebrating the anniversary too. That's also why it's important. 2 Towers did 1.4 million, tied for 10th or 12th place. And then Return of the King did 1.4. So 1.6, 1.4, and 2. So another 5 million in the till for
this weekend.
Yeah, just this weekend. But yeah, I think
Rich and I celebrated a different old movie this weekend.
You did Gladiator, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Regal is very much in my. I did Temple of Doom a couple weeks ago. Regal is very much involved in like running old movies once a day.
Oh, we just went through the entire roster of February movies, which, may I say, they're all romantic. Almost all of them are romantic tragedies where either one member dies or they don't end up together or they go through a divorce. Like, it's hilarious.
So Regal is doing another round of their classic movies? Is that what is that?
In February, they're doing like all like romantic
all
movies.
Romantic. Okay, I'll have to look.
They're romantic films that are tragic. They either die or they don't end up together, or the majority.
I just think that might be the genre.
No, I'm talking. I'm talking things like Titanic, Atonement, and Blue Valentine back to back.
Yeah, I mean,
Blue Valentine is a very interesting choice. If you've actually bothered to see it, and I wonder
but
if
I think that's one of those movies that grows with it with age, right? Okay, Natasha, you're cornered. You're here.
Also,
how do you feel? Oh, actually, before we do the Oscar thing, let's do comments. Let's say hi to everybody. We'll do that. Hello, hi. Ken McKernan, as a movie guy, will you go see the Melania movie?
There's a Melania movie?
It's a
documentary that's directed by
this is a weird question,
Brett
Ken,
Ratner of all people.
Yeah, like how about not going to see the Melania movie, not because of Melania or her evil husband, but not going to see the Melania movie because I just don't like Brett Ratner and I don't want him back. How about that? Maybe no, because I don't want to give these people money.
That's a fair point.
A fair point.
Mm-hmm.
She never heard of Darkman. No. Ken says 90, 95, 96. Ken's right in line with us. Dr. Giggles. Wasn't Jeff Fahey in the sequels? He was in one of the sequels. He's in the second sequel. Which isn't bad.
And Ken acknowledges that.
Yeah, only the third one. Curious, when Sinners goes back into his money make goes towards their original box office numbers. Yes,
because
every movie that goes back. The problem with the movies that come back at some of the theaters is once they're on video or available for streaming, the ticket prices go down. So usually we'd be talking about an Oscar bump, but Sinners and One Battle After Another are playing at my AMC this week, but they're not charging full price for the admission anymore. So it's not something like Hamnet, which is not streaming yet at 1.8 million this weekend. Like, where is it? One Battle After Another did 200,000 this weekend, which is up 990% from the last time it made money at a theater. So a lot of them will not be full price. Let's see what else. But that's it. Let's talk. But that's a great question, Joe. Money goes towards the bottom line. So, like, for example, if you look on the numbers site, which we use for numbers, Fellowship of the Rings now says 2 million this weekend. It's up to 325 total. Two Towers, 1.6 million, up to 349. Lord of the Return of the King, 1.4, up to 383. So, yeah, it goes back into the total for the movie.
Essentially, anytime a movie gets released, like, for example, Titanic's been re-released 2 or 3 times, and I would definitely count that money towards the original box office.
Right, and we're gonna have Avengers re-releases probably November. Mm-hmm. So they're all gonna try to add a little bit to try to catch. Every time Titanic gets re-released, it takes number 1 again from the Avatar. Like, it's a weird thing, the re-releases, but like big re-releases do well. You know, we'll see what happens. Let's talk about the Oscars before we get to our other stuff. I feel pretty good. How'd you feel, Natasha?
I felt pretty solid about these nominations. It wasn't anything that I really didn't expect. I figured that Sinners and One Battle After Another were going to be the top nominations of the year. I'm not going to lie. I'm only 55 minutes into Frankenstein. So far, it's beautiful and boring. But to be fair, again,
you haven't gotten to a Lordy yet.
Exactly. So I'm taking that with a grain of salt. But out of the first 55 minutes, I was able to go, okay, I'm not really seeing much with the score yet. But I love the set, the costumes. There was something else.
It's beautiful. It's amazing though. Yeah. It's like it almost directed itself. Anyway,
so I was actually shocked by all the nominations on that, but like I said, I haven't finished it.
I watched Train Dreams because that's available. I'm only missing 3, so the 3 I haven't seen are Hamnet, Sentimental Value, and something else. Anyway, I haven't seen 3.
Sinners might be the only one I've actually seen so far. I'm doing most of this based off of the tracking. But I am planning like a day or 2, hopefully over like the next month.
So I told Rich my biggest
boom right
as we talked when we talked last Thursday night. My biggest drop was I think Chase Infinity not getting a nomination on Best Actress is a little bit wonky. It's not a great look for the Academy, and Rich pointed out she'll be back. And then I also pointed out it's nice to have a really popular family that everybody loves, like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. And then you have a decent performance and you get nominated for an Academy Award. It's fine. Everything's great.
Wait, what?
Kate Hudson got nominated for Song Sung Blue.
Yeah.
I think Chase Infinity should have been nominated.
What does Chase have to do with Kurt and Goldie?
Chase Infinity doesn't have anything to do with Kurt and Goldie.
What? Kate Hudson? What are you talking?
Kate Hudson.
Yeah, Goldie Hawn.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second. Apologies.
That's okay. I felt like I was playing a weird game of Wordle with you.
I had to think about it for a second because my brain went to Blythe Danner and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. But 60 nominations for Sinners, big nomination thing. One Battle After Another. And I think, Ken asked the question on Thursday, Do I think Sinners is going to win all of its nominations? No, I don't.
No.
I don't at all, which is both sad and tragic. But I think it's going to win a lot of them. And I also, Rich and I were talking about it. The Academy tends to reward a bunch of movies as opposed to the old days where it was like, let's get a sweep going so we can have one giant movie that's the best.
I think now if they have a sweep with there being so much content out there and so many people clamoring for a win, that to not spread it out across the board will make them seem biased towards one film. And that's when you have a situation like, hey, did Harvey Weinstein come in and buy out the fucking wins kind of situation.
I hate that. I hate that he did.
But you see my
I hate that he did. That's one of the worst Oscar nights of recent memory for me. Anyway, by the way, you know what the selling point on that Oscar night was? And nobody knows what I'm talking about.
I fucking love that movie. I love Shakespeare in Love.
You can love it all you want, but do you know what the selling point was? Yeah, it's a great directed movie, but is it the best movie of the year? Is what he was telling people for Saving Private Ryan.
I could definitely say it's more rewatchable. I haven't watched Saving Private Ryan in about 18 years. I watch Shakespeare in Love at least twice a year.
Oh, I don't know.
And
this is going to shock you, but I probably watch Saving Private Ryan at least once a year, and I have not seen Shakespeare in Love in 18 years. So amazing. But I'm a Spielberg guy.
Well, Saving Private Ryan was Saving Private Lion.
Saving Private Lion? It's the Zootopia version of the movie.
Saving Private Ryan was actually the first film I ever saw.
Kind of watched that.
And I think that's another reason why I don't feel the need to constantly have to go back and rewatch it. Because it scarred me at 3 years old.
I think it's a good Memorial Day weekend movie, or it's a good.
I still need to have a discussion with your mother. I really
Veterans.
You should thank my mother for all the things.
I know, I do.
But I did like my thing stayed because I had trouble with my mic. My thing for last weekend when we were doing the thing with the Oscars was and Sinners, because every nomination as they were reading it, it was like but and Sinners. Except for a couple categories. Train Dreams was really good. It was interesting.
Also, sorry, just want to backtrack one small little thing. So they showed us Shakespeare in Love in school. They didn't show us Saving Private Ryan. That was another thing. They showed it in English class. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, yes.
It's a meme movie. But we're here to celebrate Rob Reiner.
Well,
one of America's greatest directors who we lost tragically last month.
Hold up.
Okay.
Natasha was not saying something. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say something about the Oscars really quick. I was happy to see a lot of love for sentimental value, particularly the entire nomination pool, our first-time nominees. I think that's very important here, considering Stellan Skarsgård, who has been probably a part of the majority of most franchises in the good portion of the last 30 years, and is one of the best character actors in the world, is finally receiving his first nomination for an Academy Award. To me, that is a very important moment.
I think he's probably the front runner, and in this particular case, recovering from the stroke, being able to act at a high level is what Rich and I were dubbing the Oscar story that you can't beat. Right? You not only do you have a great performance, but you're back from a what could have been a very tragic kind of illness or a moment. I think that's a pretty good thing. I think the interesting thing about that movie, Oscar wise, and Rich and I were talking about this as well, there is no love for that movie in the SAGs at all, which is an interesting I don't know why that is, but it's one of those movies where we look at the guilds as try to figure out what's what, but I think Skarsgård's untouchable. So But we have Rob Reiner. Let's talk about Rob Reiner. Speaking of untouchable, Rob Reiner's untouchable. Tonight we're doing The American President. No, that's not that.
Woo!
Sorry. Wrong movie.
That's definitely the wrong movie.
That's definitely the wrong movie. Return to the American President. No. Again, it was the click. It was the click, I tell you. The American President. This is an aspirational movie. It happens. It happens. Sit up. Sit up. It's not that funny. You haven't seen Darkman, for God's sake. Anyway, let's talk about production. I was looking at this. I was trying to find the dig the stories, Rich. And the one that came across that is very interesting, aside from the major lawsuit that enveloped this movie and the West Wing TV show, is again, we have Sorkin and Rob Reiner working together. But the person that approaches first about this movie is Robert Redford, right? He had basically come up and talked with somebody and was working on a treatment with Sorkin about a movie called The President Elopes, which is another script that was kind of banging around Hollywood. And they basically, Sorkin got selected by Redford to write the screenplay. Redford was attached to star. Emma Thompson was approached to do Sidney Wade. When the script finally bounced around to the point where it was filmable, Rob Reiner was brought aboard, and Robert Redford immediately dropped out, which is an interesting, because here are the two of the greatest liberal, democratic, politically based people in the world, and there are many instances of them not seeing eye to eye on the project and not liking one another very much. That their personalities didn't jibe. And that, Reiner saw the movie as more of a comedy, something funny. And then, Robert Redford viewed it as more of a love story, kind of like, The Way We Were kind of thing, which I think is really interesting on how you get like those great Hollywood stories where a movie starts out one way and becomes something else, right? Mm-hmm. And so I found that really interesting, that Rob Reiner and Robert Redford, two men known for their politics and known for their movies and known for their directing skills and known outside of the bubble, and they get in a room and they don't get along. I just thought you
would think they'd be simpatico on this.
Yeah.
It was a weird, they vibrate on very similar harmonics.
Yeah.
But was it just a creative
personality? No, it wasn't about politics. It was about personality. I think it was about the project. Like the way it's described in the stuff I've read is that they went into this meeting, they had an idea, Sorkin had written it out and had pieces and chunks that were both geared towards both of them, and that Redford saw it as a straight-laced romantic drama. And Reiner is like, I think it could be a real funny comedy, like a romantic comedy. You know what I mean? That we can build politics onto. And they had one meeting. And
in the end, it ended up as an amalgamation of both.
Well, but it's if you're asking me, I think Reiner wins, right? Because Reiner's version of the movie is, while it does have dramatic romantic overtones, it is far more of a romantic comedy in its construction, right? It's constructed as a romantic comedy. They're, two people who meet cute. They kind of go through their Carruthers. They have things put in their way that impedes them, their job, their family, their whatever. And then it comes out on the other end and they find a way to get together, right? It's it's a romantic comedy, and I think the idea that Redford, you hear about all kinds of stories about Redford being very not difficult, but knowing exactly what he wants in meetings. I heard another story about Redford where somebody walked in and they were auditioning, and he, I was like, I can't remember who it was at the moment, but it was somebody who was telling a story on like a talk show, and he's like, he went in, he met Redford, and Redford's like, "You're great. It's been a pleasure meeting you. You're not right for the role," and was right. The guy was right out the door. And so, like, I just think maybe it was the personality of like, I know exactly what I want, versus Rob Reiner, who's working with all these improv people, who's like, maybe we can figure things out. Does that make sense? Does that?
Yeah.
The idea
they
that
just had two
Rob
different
Reiner,
visions and two different ways of approaching how to do
material,
that. And that's
right.
I mean, heavens knows, I've seen, we've seen that story play out across Hollywood history all the time.
Right.
I'm sure Natasha would, agree with me that when I say, when she and I have been working on film projects, we've had different ideas about things, and
Oh boy.
Yeah, I didn't know. I viewed it as more of a really great story, like a tidbit. And like I said, you're right. Harmonically, they should be simpatico, but they just came across. Now, other stories that were interesting. Sorkin has told TV Guide many a time that he was high on crack cocaine when he wrote this script that took him almost 3 years to complete. One of his longest time frames writing.
Was it almost like 400 pages long?
Yeah, it was a very big script.
A lot of the stuff that didn't get used ended up in West Wing.
Yes, we're going to talk about that. Save that for Legacy. We're going to talk about
a
lot of it.
I've got notes.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about West Wing, but I think West Wing is the Legacy one, and then I have a surprise Legacy one for you. Maybe not a surprise, but we'll see what happens. The other big story about the production, right? They get everybody they want. Everything goes fine. The set, interesting enough, they build the set on Castle Rock Entertainment Studios in Culver City. That set is later used for Nixon, Independence Day, The West Wing, other shows that become other movies and shows that become presidential based movies. Mm-hmm. So like Independence Day, same set, Nixon, same set. And then the lawsuit. William Reichert sued the Writers Guild of America for not being credited. Reichert claimed Sorkin's screenplay was a thinly veiled plagiarism of a 1981 screenplay called The President Elopes. And just so we're clear on this, Redford and Reichert had never met. So The President Elopes was Robert Redford's idea as well. Great minds think alike, whatever you want to think. But Reichert actually wrote a screenplay that never got produced in 1981. After Guild arbitration, Sorkin was awarded full credit on The American President. Reichert, not done with Aaron Sorkin, also claimed The West Wing was derived from part of the screenplay. So he went whole hog.
He tried.
Reichert, he tried real hard. Well, I mean, when you start looking at it, right, it makes perfect sense. But Reichert, an interesting, he not a very big career, but like, in the 70s, and he did make some movies, right? He wrote The Man in the Iron Mask. He wrote A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon, The American Success Company, Winter Kills, which is a political thriller, Crime and Passion in 76, The Happy Hooker he wrote. So like he tried real hard, but it was never settled in his favor. He ended up losing those arbitrations, and the lawsuit never made it past. But that's the gist of the production. Everything goes as planned. They film on set. They do all kinds of stuff like that, and it kind of goes where it needs to go. Boom, box office. Interesting. This movie is a movie that never made number one, ever. It was released by the numbers, as we are wont to do. It opened, where's my opening release date? November 17th, 1995. It opened in third place that holiday season, that Thanksgiving holiday season. It grossed $10 million. It played an average of 6 weeks. It opened on 1,500 theaters, 1,508. Ended up on 1,508, played an average of 10 weeks. Ended up grossing $60 million domestic. Not bad for a romantic comedy. International did 47. So the worldwide box office was 107. Adjusted for inflation, it grows to 155, which would put it, on track for a pretty big movie for us right now. And again, we don't get these kind of movies anymore. Right? Yeah. But nothing where it didn't have to open staggered. It came out right around Thanksgiving. It kind of just bumped along, finishing third first weekend, 9.7 its second weekend where it finished, and then 5.3 in its third. It was in sixth place. It never got higher than third place in its entirety at the box office. So, but it's a beautiful movie to look at, and as we get to critical response then and now, as you're looking at the pictures of the movie, like, it has a very serious tone. The set design is very good for a movie, and what it has in spades is star power, right? Micheal Douglas and Annette Bening. Annette Bening at the time was shockingly hot. Like, she was just one of those actresses that, bubbled up out of somewhere and then just very, very, very good and very becomes one of those actresses that you can count on a regular basis, right?
I could have seen Emma Thompson still doing that role, though.
Yeah, I think Emma Thompson is considerably less sexy. I don't think Emma Thompson can pull off the shirt scene.
I disagree on that.
I don't, because I think of the grifter. I think of the grifters, and I think of everything Annette Bening had done to this point.
What was that movie she did with Kenneth? Dead Again or Dead Alive?
Dead Again? Yeah, Dead Again.
Yeah, no,
I think Dead Alive is a Peter Jackson horror film.
Yeah, Dead Alive is not is another movie that Rich and I really
not
like.
What you're thinking of.
Dead Again there is a sex appeal about her, but there's something very much about Emma Thompson that Annette Bening has as well. She's beautiful. She's radiant. There's a warmth about her. There's an intelligence about her. And that just comes through in how she vocally speaks.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, I could have seen it.
Okay. So movie opens. We use Rotten Tomatoes, a good way of aggregating. What I found most interesting about the reviews this time, first off, it's at 90% from critics, 77% on the popcorn meter from the audiences. So certainly not the highest from the audiences of Rob Reiner's movies, nor the highest from the critics. But what I noticed is, Rich, this movie comes out after North, right? North was a definitive bomb. And many people thought not only was his streak gone, Rich, but many people thought his career was over.
Yeah.
And so
we talked about how he kind of was lining himself up to direct Shawshank Redemption, but the writer decided he wanted to direct it, and he said, you know what, go ahead. And, I'll do this other project I have percolating with my friend Alan Zweibel, who wrote this novel called North. And he knew it wasn't good, but, so maybe he was coming back with a little bit of fire in his belly, going, okay, I really fumbled the ball. I had a bad day, the ultimate bad day at the office with North. maybe now is the time to, really show them what I can do. Maybe going back to the romantic comedy genre is a,
he has two blankies. He has two blankies, Rich. He has a romantic comedy, right? And he has Sorkin, right? It's two blankies that he actually has in this movie, where it's like a really good script and it's a romantic comedy. But I also, like I said, the most interesting thing about all the reviews, almost all of the reviews, Siskel, Ebert, everybody in the reviews mentions North. Like, for example, this is Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Director Rob Reiner has picked himself off the floor that was his last picture, North, and created simply one of the year's best films. All of them mention North, Rich. All of the reviews.
I think at that point in time,
get the taste out.
When you had somebody of Reiner's capacity, making an absolute fumble of a film, you have to go, look, he did bad, but he's back on track.
This
now.
one is
you
good.
Have to kind of, you have to kind of really go, hey, the last thing for, never mind.
Like, everyone has a stumble, but then they pick themselves back up.
I just think it was fun that the critics themselves took it upon themselves to basically say, we need to let you know that everything is fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's an interesting way to go, and almost everybody,
don't lose faith.
Yeah, don't lose faith. And like I said, the other thing that gets mentioned a lot with this movie, and it's something we're going to talk about, a lot of the critics' reviews, because of its aspirational tone and its aspirational nature and everything about it, which is, we want to see the good in politics, we want to see good in our politicians, we want to see them do the right things, we want to see people who are not doing horrible things. We want to see
them as human.
Yes, there's a Capra quality to it that also gets mentioned in a lot of the reviews.
Capra, by the way, did you watch and read through the entire end credits?
I did, but now that I feel like I missed something.
No, I didn't.
Yes. The first assistant cameraman in the camera crew was Frank Capra III, Frank Capra's grandson.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Frank Capra Jr. was also a film director. He did, was it Marooned with Gene Hackman?
Yeah,
and,
great movie.
Among other films. And so it was nice to see the grandson was also, in the film industry. And I did have a chance to look him up to see if he's still working or working.
I have two for you that I noticed on repeat viewings of things. But one, when they're at Camp David and he's like, all these things and I can't find anything to watch, North is one of the movies he clicks through.
No freaking way.
Yeah, so North is one of the movies he clicks through. And this is one I should have said when Harry Met Sally. There's a sequence when Harry's by himself in the room in his apartment. What book is he reading, Rich? Did you?
North.
No, the book Billy Crystal is reading is Misery.
Misery.
Oh.
And
shoot, that's right. Yes, you're right.
He's reading Misery. But like I said, I think the interesting thing is it's got a Capra quality. It has aspirations. It's got some great supporting actors in it. It's got, at this point in his career, Michael J. Fox is not back. He's kind of still kind of working to get back to, a semblance of whatever. He had, a couple of downer movies, and they cast him in a supporting role, and he is great.
I think this is his best performance, actually.
Michael J. Fox's?
Yeah, 100%. For me, this is his best performance. There's a maturity.
He's good. I think it's hard. It's hard for anything that's Michael J. Fox to not be Marty McFly. But the movie I would say, the movie I would say for Michael J. Fox for me has always been what I consider his best work, just because he's perfect for the comedy genre. And the movie I think he does his best work in, the movie that I think is underrated, is Secret of My Success. Right, would be that's my ultimate Michael J. Fox role, right? He's playing somebody that's smarter than everybody else. He's also playing somebody that's, just doesn't understand how the idiots work at his company. Like, it's one of my favorite movies.
Well, my issue is because he is very baby face, very boy like. He would often get typecast in certain roles. I mean, hell, my first ever Michael J. Fox performance was not Back to the Future. In fact, I didn't see Back to the Future until about 5 years ago. I still have not seen 2 or 3 because I did not.
I'm sorry. What?
Hold on.
What?
My first Michael J. Fox experience was his voice of Milo Thatch in Atlantis. And that's great vocal work there.
Wait, I'm sorry. But we're having Rich and I are. I think Rich knows about these things, and I don't. I think
I do. I just accept that that's how she was raised.
But I think it's been pitted on me to try to cause a heart attack. Like I haven't seen Darkman.
Oh, by the way, Back to the Future.
You don't like Back to the Future? Wait, you don't. Wait, not only have you not seen it until like 5 years ago, but you don't like it?
I saw it.
Yeah, but you're saying you don't like it?
I don't like it. It's creepy. Anyway, so same reason I don't like Animal House.
That feels like
moving on. Anyway,
feels like a.
So I like this performance.
No, don't lump Back to the Future in with Animal House. Animal House has real problems, but also like.
Moving on.
We got to move on.
Gotta get back to Michael
Oh
J.
my
Fox.
God. Wait, let's get comments. Hold on. Comments.
Oh,
to answer your sinner's question, yes. Howdy, Lauren. Talked about you earlier. I got it right. I feel good. Isn't she married to Dick Tracy?
Yes.
Cool. Grifters is a favorite of mine. Grifters is a great movie. My opinion, underrated movie is The Frighteners. That's actually that's a great choice also. He's really good in The Frighteners.
I'm not in The Frighteners.
Second early
Peter
Jackson film we've mentioned.
Oh my God.
Love
what is happening? The Frighteners, Darkman, and Back to the Future. My God.
I've not seen
Would you let her talk?
I love him in this because it shows a maturity to the work. He's trying to act his way out of the pigeonhole that he has found himself in because of looks. And I think he does great work here, pitting himself against fucking heavyweights such as Martin Sheen and Micheal Douglas. In that scene, he commands that room. Hell, his little tirade when he fucking snaps the damn Coke can. I felt that in my core. Like
I always thought he snapped the Coke can because he was a Pepsi
I'm on the phone
guy.
with someone. I'm just like, I just want to make a list of everyone's trying to fuck me today. Like I felt that.
Yeah, it's a very good performance. He's fantastic in the movie. And like I said, as somebody who's been a Michael J. Fox fan since forever, like I was in ground floor Family Ties, so he's great. I think the little girl that plays the daughter is fantastic. The supporting cast is really good. The leads are the key, though, right? The chemistry, their connection. It's another movie where Reiner gets two really good actors, knows exactly what to do with them, puts them in all these weird, kind of like weird concepts where like, oh, we have to go to the dinner to celebrate the French. You know what I mean? Like it works on so many levels. And then, like I said, it's positioned out like a traditional romantic comedy, right? Where they meet cute. She's ripping him down. He walks in the room and he's like, well, shit, everybody talked about me like that. Like he's very charming. He asks her to come in one door. He comes out the other door. Like, it's all very, like, have you ever been in the Oval Office before? Like just on the regular tour, but they don't show it here, like it meet cute. And then the obstacles are what, Richard Dreyfuss's character, her burning a flag, like all these little obstacles, his trying to get reelected, the two bills, right? The one bill about carbon emission and the one bill about, the crime bill. And it's
sorry, please.
No, go ahead.
I was I was going to say, I think the beauty is in the small moments, such as when she starts speaking French to the new French president and his wife at the table. And there's this quick little, it's almost like a small little camera move to Micheal Douglas. So they share the frame where he goes, "That's my date." Like, he's so proud in that moment that she's saving the entire thing.
There are a lot of really good little
There's other
moments
things too, like, and you flashed the picture of it a little bit a few moments ago, JW, of where Micheal Douglas, the president is there with his daughter. She's tying his bow tie, and they're just having like a discussion. It's like, hey, are you cool with me? Maybe dating somebody, and I think that's a great moment. It kind of just, they don't do a whole lot of stuff about those two characters and their relationship, but I think that scene gives us enough.
Yeah, the actress has another good little moment. Like, right, she has another great little moment where Shauna Waldron plays Lucy, and she has another great moment where she's meeting Sydney for the first time, and she comes out and she's like, "I'm supposed to tell you my dad's on the phone with the dentist." And she's like, "Is he on the phone with the dentist?" And she's like, "No, he's on the phone with the Prime Minister of Israel." Like, and it's this weird moment you can only have in a movie about an American president dating somebody, right? But it's a cute little moment. She's very nice. She also yells at him when, did you do something to her because she seemed mad? Were you a dork? Don't be a dork. So and that's it. Like, the movie looks great. It feels great. Bening looks great. I have two pictures of him. And Douglas, this is one of those things. Douglas in the 90s was one of the hottest actors, like one of the most bankable stars in the 90s, Rich. He could open a movie like this, you know what I mean? And so it plays to all of his good things. Also, a thing that cannot go without saying, Douglas has got his dad's jib, right? He's got his dad's chin, right? The cut of his jib. And, that's another thing. Like, his dad was one of the most liberal people in the history of Hollywood. If you don't know a lot about Kirk Douglas, go and read about Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas
helped destroy the blacklist.
Yes. Kirk Douglas helped destroy the blacklist, but also could also work with John Wayne. I saw an interview the other day with him where he was talking about working with John Wayne, and he's like, "We don't talk about politics or religion. We talk about work. And at the end of the night, we go have a steak." And he shows up and does his work. I show up and do mine, and I don't agree with anything he thinks or says, and he doesn't agree with anything I think or say, but that doesn't mean we can't make money. And I was like watching it going, Kirk Douglas kind of rocks. But his son also is a bastion of the family. The family is one of the strongest acting families in the history of Hollywood. And Douglas is great here. The scene at the end where he's giving the speech, which we're going to talk about in a moment. Like, everything works. The movie works. It has the implements. They work around their problems. Everybody ends up where they need to be at the end. And it's one of Rob Reiner's best movies. And it's also I think it's a love letter to liberalism. And it's a love letter to moderation, and it's a love letter to all these different things. And it's an Americana, and it's something we don't have. It's aspirational. I feel like we need to show it to half the country right now. This movie needs to be seen by half the country, and maybe we've just lost track of it. You know what I mean? But the scenes with Sheen and the scenes with Micheal Douglas also work really well because, again, eventually we're going to get Martin Sheen, and this is where you can run roughshod. Martin Sheen will eventually become Josiah Bartlett.
Well, do you know exactly how this happened? Because it all goes back to a Jewish temple on Long Island. Where Aaron Sorkin's mom and the mom of screenwriter Akiva Goldsman both attended the same Jewish temple. And one day they were having talking or something after services, and they're like, "Oh, your screenwriter's son should meet with my screenwriter's son out in California." And so the two of them met up, became friends. They were having coffee and going out for drinks and hanging out. And at one point, Akiva Goldsman was like, the American President is the best pilot that's not a pilot I've ever seen for a TV series. You really need to just do something with that. And that's when Sorkin went, "Oh shit, yeah, I guess I should," and turned around and, redeveloped it into what we now know as The West Wing. It's actually Akiva Goldsman's fault, so to speak. And I don't like Akiva Goldsman as a writer all that much. I think he has terrible third act problems in most of his films. But you've heard me say this before, Natasha. No laughing.
Yeah, I have.
But he was right on in his instincts there, and encouraging Sorkin to go do that. And
of course, he would understand the beginning of something, not the end.
But I think the interesting thing is that a lot of the stuff plays out in the West Wing, like a lot of the, highly aspirational, idealized versions of the White House, right? They share an ideology. They come. It is the defining characteristic of the American president that it eventually produces the West Wing. It even you even have characters, presidents. The French president is the same in the American president that he is in the West Wing, which is crazy. By the way, that guy's last name is like Frankenstein. The guy who played the French president. I was looking at it last night. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how did he not create a monster? Anyway,
there's a massive list of West Wing characters in this. You have Josh Malina working for, that's what I said, for Sydney, right? Sydney Ellen Wade. You have as our press secretary in The American President, you have what was she? The defense secretary in West Wing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you were also looking at, there was at least one other person.
Yeah, you also have full episodes that are kind of I guess one of the things that he in the movie he says,
the one daughter is Sydney's sister,
Nina Samasco, right, is his daughter. But also you have a whole there's a sequence in the movie where there's a Libyan attack on a missile system that we're putting into Israel, and
episode 3, first season.
Well, what he says is, I'd like somebody at some point to explain to me a proportional response. And then one of the episodes of The West Wing is titled
that line's in there,
a proportional response.
Yeah.
So they basically get to explain what that means. Now, here's the funny one, and this is where Natasha's comment that she thinks it's Michael J. Fox's best legacy, best performance. This movie actually causes them to cast him in a show. He had a very big show on ABC called Spin City. And basically the show was about him working in a mayor's office, New York mayor's office. It ran for 8 seasons. Mayor. He was deputy mayor. It's a fantastic comedy show. It is a wonderful, amazing. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've been to 2 tapings of Spin City. One in the first season and one in the second season. So I saw when Carla Giuliana, whatever her name is, was there in that first 13 episode run of for her, and then again in the second season. And
it is a
if
perfect
you're familiar
vehicle
with the show, they did. I got to see how they did those great walk and talks. They would do these all in one not one take with one camera, but it was one take and then a couple of cameras. And if you're familiar with the show, you know how most of the action takes place in the bullpen outside of Mike's office and then Mike's office. But the set was built kind of deeper, so where you see people can walk along that walkway and then turn left and go down a hall.
Yeah.
That was like an entire loop that was part of the set. And they would put up a fake wall right there at the bullpen. So they could start here and do a complete loop. And then as soon as they were out of like around the corner, Teamsters or whatever came in, picked up the wall and moved it out of the way. So while they were still doing the whole walk and talk, so they were doing like full on complete walk and talk scenes in one take with a couple of different cameras.
It's a great show. I'm not saying it's the West Wing. I'm just saying
they basically did like a 360-degree walk, and we're right back to where they started, but it just looked different because they had this one movable wall. I was sitting there the first time I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that is so freaking smart to do. And it just added to the thing. And I was just absolutely flabbergasted.
But that show is phenomenal. And he wouldn't have had that show without this chance in this movie. And so I've loved Michael J. Fox again since Family Ties. And the idea that this movie allows him to get Spin City, which I end up watching until it ends, right? Like I watched that show in its entirety.
Even after he left for that 5th season.
Even after he left, I watched that show. And other legacy things that happen. We've had people steal the speech, right? Somebody that does not share Michael Douglas's ideologies, pieces of the speech that were stolen. The person that you'd least expect to like the American president, Ted Cruz, stole it. And Ted Cruz stole it when he was facing Donald Trump. And basically, Trump had picked on Cruz's wife. And basically, Cruz stated, if Donald wants to get into a character fight, he's better off sticking with me. Heidi is way out of his league. So, like, the movie transcends, right? And it's also this aspirational kind of fun, amazing movie that you revisit. And as you revisit it, you realize it's sent out these important tendrils. West Wing, creates, Martin Sheen cuts his teeth here and then goes into the West Wing and is amazing. And then, yeah.
I think that it's not just something to be listened to. It's also something to be watched. You can actually learn a lot about the time period that it was created. Oh my God. Look at the daughter's costumes. The vest, the French braid down the back. It screams 90s. And I love seeing some of that inside the White House. You see a lot of the more conservative side of that, which you often don't see in place of more flamboyant colors. I actually pulled this. There's a timestamp on it, November 25th. I sent that to a friend. I was looking at having my hair done like Sydney Ellen Wade for our annual Christmas party. I think there's something so beautiful about the costumes in this and in their simplicity, in their office wear, which is something you don't often get a chance to see, is a lot of variety in that, particularly for women.
No, and I think like I said, I think it's got a great legacy. It's one of those movies where, you may not rewatch it, but if you do rewatch it, you're rewarded, right? It's got warm stuff going on. It's got a great chemistry. They're really good together. That smile, that Annette Bening smile, you can melt an iceberg. And she's
warmth.
Great. Yeah, there's a warmth to her that's that you just can't, you can't shake a stick at, and it doesn't grow on trees in Hollywood. Like that is one of the defining characteristics of these movies, right? These Rob Reiner movies where he gets the very best out of these actors and actresses, right? Like you don't necessarily understand how it happens, but when it does, you look up and you go, that's incredible. That's amazing. Like, and I think we've lost a little track of how good he was as a director. recently. So a couple things. Let's see.
Focusing on
Sorry,
the three films that we've done so far on this podcast for Rob Reiner, one of the things that I've noticed actually is in our female lead, he has a habit of casting someone who is very, very warm. And I would even say that about Demi Moore as well, even though she looks like she could be icy. She is warm. But there's all three of them, there is an inner strength. They're a tower.
I think he's drawn to like the idea that the warmth, the human capacity is available in all three of the scripts we've looked at. Gabe says, "Sorry I'm late." No worries, Gabe. We appreciate you. Met Martin Sheen, nice guy. Oh my God, Spin City wasn't that in the 90s? Yes, it was. The movie trickles down, and then it just doesn't transcend. It trickles down. Yeah, it does. It was even like one of the legacy things that we didn't talk about really quick. This movie was mentioned by Obama at a correspondence dinner. Somebody had written something bad about him, and he basically kind of used the movie as like, I can try to get as much done as I can, but I'm sorry I'm not living in that movie. I'd love to be living in that movie, but I'm not.
One other thing too, for legacy is, in addition to an inspiring West Wing, other people did try their hands at getting a world leader in love story going. I think maybe the comedy American Dream kind of touched on it just a little bit, not a whole lot, but at least kind of like humanized the president at the time. Of the character that they had as a president. There was a Blacklist script in 2009 called Allies with Benefits. And it was written by Elizabeth Wright Shapiro. And it was about the first woman president who wakes up one morning to find out that in England they had a vote of no confidence for the prime minister. And as part of some kind of political machinations over there, they elected some backbencher MP to be the new prime minister. And it turns out to be a guy she had a one-night stand with in college.
And I remember you telling me about this. Yeah.
And she kind of gets very, very in her head about, oh my God, is he going to even remember me or not? And it's a fun romantic comedy trope by tossing,
you could even say Love Actually takes a little bit from this as well.
Damn it. I was just about to mention that. That's
yeah.
my hands up.
Yeah. Love Actually
is
also
I'm
kind
good,
of
Natasha.
that
I'm
similar
good.
vibe.
Respect.
Unfortunately, the script obviously never got made. It would have been fun to see if it did or not. Oh well. But it's still inspiring people to write and create. And I'm sure at some point down the road, we will see another take on this story or a different, kind of viewpoint or a different kind of story involving a president and their love life.
Yeah, I think it's, legacy is.
Well, Dave then too.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
just
Dave is
right
another
now.
one that comes. Yeah, there are some comedies that are there. Okay, the perfect place to end for this tonight. We will continue, of course, next week with Rob Reiner. And we've had a change of plans. We've had a move. We're doing The Princess Bride. I'm good at change. It's more, yeah. Look, I respect Natasha, and Natasha wants to do The Princess Bride. I still think we should do.
Sold you on that literally 30-second pitch.
You didn't sell me on it. Rich knows The Princess Bride was on a short list. I happen to enjoy Stand By Me very much. I think Stand By Me is highly underrated. Also, the reason I had picked Stand By Me as our fourth and final Rob Reiner movie was because Stand By Me is celebrating its anniversary, right? So that's one of the reasons I was picking Stand By Me. But I was thinking about it. I can do Stand By Me later in the year if I want to.
I will come back to that one. You have my word.
For 86. But so next week we'll be doing The Princess Bride. Inconceivable we could leave it out, but I wasn't necessarily going to leave it out. It just I thought maybe we'd do Stand By Me because as a Stand By Me's opening was how I felt the day Rob Reiner died. Is another reason why I wanted to do Stand By Me, but it's okay. We'll do The Princess Bride. If you like before we get going, if you like our show, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, IMDb, all those places, Threads, Blue Sky. We have 2 shows also coming up. We have this one, Untrained and Unscripted. Ryan West, Joe Ridgely, back from Purgatory, podcast Purgatory, premiering Thursday, January 29th. Gabe, who was in recently, also have a show coming up soon. Tomorrow night we have Loud Nerdy with Lauren Lepre from Camera X on Tubi. Pretty buzzworthy movie we're going to be talking about, independent film. Rich, where can people find your stuff?
Before I throw my plugs around, do want to also say Regal Cinema, as we mentioned before, does their repertory film of the day, and on February 16th they will be showing the American President. So if you want to see it again on a big screen, find yourself a Regal nearby on the 16th and check it out.
Interesting.
All of my writing, which includes my review of Wonder Man, which drops all 6, 7, 8 episodes on Disney Plus tomorrow, can be found at filmbuffonline.com. I'm going to tell you right now, Wonder Man does not have a big superhero fight in it. It doesn't have a whole lot of stuff going on it outside of being a really interesting slice of life about a down-and-out actor who's trying to claw his way up, meeting with another actor on his way down, but it takes place inside the MCU, so there's going to be some certain complications. It's a whole lot different than what you've come to expect from MCU stuff. It's super refreshing, and I can't recommend it enough. But like I said, all of my reviews and writing can be found at filmbuffonline.com. We got a Facebook page. You can follow us there. You can follow us on Twitter. I have a personal Twitter account and Blue Sky and Threads, all at Filmbuff Rich, and that's it.
I didn't even try to do it this time.
Yeah, she did. We're okay. So a couple comments before we leave. If you want to see a perfect president, watch a movie or a TV show. Yeah, we're not getting one in real life these days. Nice. Carrie Elways is a friend of mine. Gabe's a huge Saw fan, so I'm sure we'll get some Carrie Elways love next week. Stand By Me, we got to put it a little bit on hold, Joe. So I worked on a movie with Lauren. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Big show tomorrow night. Talking about his movie Camera X, and should be a great show. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see everybody next week for Generation Movie, where we will be doing The Princess Bride. Inconceivable that it was not be done, but we'll be talking about it next week. Thank you for joining us tonight. I want to thank Natasha for coming out.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great week. Go see a movie. Big movies opening. Send help. And Iron Lung, whatever the fuck that's going to be. Anyway, have a great night. We'll see everybody next week. Bye.
Ciao.